Colombia, in the late 20th century, was a nation at war, not with another country, but with a man. A single man who wielded such terrifying power that he could buy off the state or burn it to the ground. His name was Pablo Escobar, and his rise from petty thief to one of the richest, most feared criminals in modern history is the kind of story that sounds almost too wild to be true. Yet it is. And Colombia lived through every chilling moment of it. Pablo Emilio Escobar Gaviria was not born into wealth or privilege. He came from the dusty streets of Antioquia, the son of a farmer and a schoolteacher. Like many young boys growing up poor, he dreamed of more. Not just money, but respect, power, influence. It didn't take long for those dreams to twist into something darker. By his 20s, Escobar had already begun his descent into the criminal underworld. He started small, stealing tombstones and reselling them, running small scams. But it wasn't long before he found his golden ticket: cocaine. In the 1970s, the cocaine trade was still in its infancy. Escobar didn't just join it, he industrialized it. Through a combination of brutality, cunning, and sheer audacity, Escobar built the Medellín Cartel, a drug empire unlike anything the world had ever seen. At its height, it was shipping tons of cocaine every week into the United States, generating billions of dollars annually. In fact, at one point, Pablo Escobar was listed by Forbes as the 7th richest man in the world. But Escobar's empire wasn't just built on powder, it was built on blood. He bribed anyone who could be bribed: judges, politicians, police commanders, customs officers. If they couldn't be bought, they were killed. It was as simple and terrifying as that. His motto, plata o plomo, silver or lead, was more than a phrase. It was a grim choice he forced upon an entire nation. Colombia paid the price. Throughout the 1980s and early 90s, the country descended into chaos. Assassinations became routine. Bombings tore through cities. Entire police departments lived in fear. Escobar even declared war on the Colombian government when they tried to extradite him to the United States. The violence reached such heights that citizens began to fear the man more than the state. Yet there was a paradox to Pablo Escobar that still confounds people to this day. While he terrorized cities with his violence, he was also deeply invested in the poor. In Medellín, he built entire neighborhoods for the homeless. He handed out food, funded schools, and constructed soccer fields. To many in the slums, he wasn't a criminal. He was a savior. They called him El Patrón. That's what made him so dangerous. He wasn't just feared, he was loved. But no empire of violence lasts forever. In 1991, in a move that stunned the world, Escobar offered to surrender on his terms. The Colombian government, desperate to stem the bloodshed, agreed. Escobar would serve time in a prison of his own design. La Catedral, as it was called, was less a prison and more a 5-star estate. It had a gym, a bar, a waterfall, and even a disco. And from inside, Escobar continued to run his operations with ease. Eventually, the illusion shattered. When Escobar murdered 2 cartel members within La Catedral's walls, the government tried to move him. He escaped, sparking a massive manhunt that spanned more than a year. The US got involved. Special operations units were deployed. Colombian forces, tired of being humiliated, teamed up with rival cartels and vigilante groups under the umbrella of Los Pepis, an organization hell-bent on destroying Escobar by any means necessary. It worked. Piece by piece, Escobar's empire crumbled. His allies turned against him. His family was cornered. His money couldn't buy protection anymore. And then, on December 2nd, 1993, one day after his 44th birthday, the man who once claimed to be untouchable was cornered on a rooftop in Medellín. Surrounded by Colombian forces, he tried to run. He didn't get far. A bullet, whether from the police or his own gun, ended his life. Pablo Escobar died barefoot, with a gun in one hand and a phone in the other. But the damage he left behind, that didn't die with him. His story isn't one of victory. It's a chilling reminder of how one man can hold a nation hostage, of how power, when paired with brutality and ambition, can reshape a country's history. Escobar didn't just smuggle drugs, he smuggled fear into the very soul of Colombia. And yet, his ghost still lingers in Medellín, in the stories people tell, in the scars still healing, and in the uneasy admiration some still feel for the man who gave them houses, even as he burned cities down. Pablo Escobar wasn't just a drug lord, he was a force of nature, one that Colombia will never forget.